All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the, I guess, what you would call the official season debut here in High Velocity Racing League. Got the rookie trucks going here tonight again at Daytona. 70 laps here, so we'll see what happens. No qualifying to be done here, as of course last week was the duels, so no need for any extra qualifying or anything like that. We're just going to be wrapping up with practice here shortly, and then we'll be getting into the race.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one tonight for sure. We got 40 or so drivers. If it's anything like last week, I'm sure it's going to be a few wrecks and going to take out quite a few guys here. Luckily, they do have a quick repair, so that should help them out once. But it only takes one wreck like what happened last week, and it takes out pretty much the whole crowd. And there's all your quick repairs. So we'll see what happens tonight. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to say the least. Hopefully, these guys can get through with a clean race and not have too much calamity go on. But you never know what's going to happen here, especially at a super speedway. There's a lot of room for error.
Yeah, it's Daytona. I mean, it's a little less room than what there is at Dega, but higher banks. Like I said, man, it's a parking lot out there for sure. If everybody could just be patient, kind of sit back, relax, ride around for, 60, 65 laps and let her rip on the last 5 or 10 laps, we should be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen over the course of our time here. These wow, English is hard, I guess. These drivers have been able to get it done. You know, barring a couple green white checkers. But one thing I want to touch on tonight, if and it's a big if we do get into green flag pit stops, one of the things that we have seen on the broadcast over this course of these last three races is we've had a lot of issues actually on pit road entry. These guys, for whatever reason, brake bias too high or coming in too hot or whatever the case may be, we've had some guys have some trouble. So we'll see if that is something that becomes an issue here tonight. If these guys can keep it clean on any green flag pit entries or anything like that. So we'll see. But we got three teammates here lined up during practice. We've got Sean Wilder, Chris Winiger, and Mike, and they all are diving down pit road. We'll see if anybody makes a mistake that I just mentioned. It looks like everybody gets it in there pretty clean.
Yeah, entry to pit road is not the easiest here. I mean, let's say you got 20 guys, half the group coming in at one time. You're going to have to really stagger yourselves. You can usually go about 4 or 5 wide coming into the pits. Like you said, some people might have brake bias a little wrong, so they'll come sliding in and turn it or overshoot pit road, hit the grass, or there's a lot of things that can happen on pits. Even in the pits, it can happen. It's quite a calamity here.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that, we see in some of the higher coordinated series are, depending on qualifying position or starting position in a race like this where the grid is preset, where you enter pit road is very important too, right? Because if you, let's say you have, one of the first box in pit road and you go down to the entry and you're on the outside, you've got to slow way down to get in your box. And then if you're, in an extreme situation, like if I'm the first car pitting down pit road and I'm, maybe have like 10 or 11 boxes ahead, I've got a lot of guys that are going to pass me while I'm trying to get to my box. And that's a big room for error where we could have some contact. So we'll see if these guys can get coordinated, getting down to pit road clean, not having too many issues. And, we'll see if they can manage it. I think they will. I think these last couple of races that we've had, where these guys have gotten a couple extra laps in, is hopefully really going to help out tonight. We want to see a clean race. We don't want this to take all night, and I'm sure these drivers don't either. So we'll see if these guys are able to get it done.
Yeah, pit road's always been probably my biggest kryptonite. Either I'm coming in too fast, going out too fast. A lot of times I'll slide through my pit stops. So, I mean, it can happen to the best of us, can happen to anybody. But as far as out on track, like I said, 40 drivers. It's going to be fun tonight. Hopefully everybody kind of takes it easy. We have a little less cautions than last week. We definitely have less green light checkered this time, the max of 3. So I think fuel strategy will also come into play a little bit tonight as well, especially if we get a couple cautions. We get one towards the end, it might come down to you got to save to the last drop. So
Yeah, I think you and I have both been on the receiving end of not making it to the finish due to fuel on green, white, checkered. So that's something that can be frustrating. I mean, hindsight's always 2020, right? But what are maybe some things that some of these guys can try to do, in a late race situation? I mean, based off of your history with the league and what we've seen, I mean, if you're close to the front and we have potential for some green, white, checkers, are you going to go ahead and pit, or are you going to try to test your luck and see if you can make it?
it really all depends. I mean, if I feel like I'm going to be right on the edge of making it or not, I wouldn't want to be out front anyways. You're going to be using more fuel. The farther back in the group you are, the more you're able to let off the throttle, and that's more fuel saving. So at the same time, though, you don't want to be way back in the group right at the end, because if you're 30 some cars deep, there's going to be a wreck at the end. There always is, especially at these super speedways. But even if you're way back there and there's not a wreck, you got to come through 30 plus drivers, and it's going to easily get 3 or 4 wide possibly here. So
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys you may see there at the end that are looking to make a push, right? You late race caution, or maybe some of the guys. I mean, we saw it with, I believe it was the A trucks, if I'm not mistaken. The guys that were leading the whole race got caught up in some drama there at the end, and they weren't even really in the fight until some more cautions came out. So I'm with you. I think it is very situational. It kind of all depends on the feel of the race and how things play out. Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of things could go right for a lot of these guys, and a lot of these things could go wrong as well. And hopefully, our hyperdrive boys are on the good end of that. But nonetheless, I mean, it really is a roulette out here. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, fuel is one thing here. That's pretty much the main thing as far as pit road. Tires really don't come into play much at these super speedways. You can be out there on the same set you start out with, as long as you're not spinning it or going down into the grass or anything like that, you'd still end up easily in the 90 percentiles by the end of the race. So normally whenever I pit, I don't, when I got to fill up the fuel tank, I'm at least getting one side tires. I mean, obviously on trucks A, I had a little bit of an issue with that just because it spun out when they dropped the truck, and it was just hot from there on out, and I just ended up screwing it up. But it's all part of the game, man. You do 4 tires, you're going to be spending too much time on pit road, and then before you know it, you've lost the draft and you're out of it.
yeah, most definitely. And I'm with you. I think as far as tires go, it kind of depends on fuel. It's faster putting on left side tires, and a lot of the times, left side tires are actually really what you want to take here. Not always, but there are instances where that is the case. And I mean, as you mentioned, alluding to, I believe it was you said it was the A truck race. Yeah, it was the A truck race, and you had a little bit of issues coming out of pit road, and I don't know if that's going to happen here again tonight. I would hope not for some of these drivers, but nonetheless, I mean, as we mentioned, there's a lot of room for error at a track like this, rather it be pit strategy, rather it just be, bump drafting or side drafting, or, I mean, really anything could happen. So pit strategy is going to be important, especially at a track like this. Another thing that we saw on one of the previous broadcasts was, I think guys did a really good job coming down to pit road together, but not the greatest of jobs executing when it came down to actually making the stops. I mean, if you're on a pit strategy, right, and let's say you're a team of 4, maybe 5, a couple guys hang on, whatever, you guys all come down to pit road together, and 2 or 3 people botch that pit entry, that strategy is at that point almost out the window, right? Because you come out in a pack of 2 or even 3, you're not going to be anywhere near as fast as these guys that are in the lead pack. I mean, you see it here on the broadcast. Look at this train that we have. It's very hard to beat that. And as I mentioned it again, these guys are really emphasizing their pit road, and that's exactly what I was talking about. We see the 99 of Sean Wilder just lock the front end up, and that rear end comes around, and he gets himself into trouble hitting the wall. So
Yeah, these guys are out there at least doing some laps here trying to get ready. We're about 2 minutes to where we get to do some lineups here, and then it's fun from then on out. So just sit tight, and we'll be right with it.
Yeah, about a minute and 40 wrapped up here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and hop on in, give a little bit of words of encouragement for these drivers, get the drivers meeting up and over with, and we'll see you guys here in the next 2 to 3 minutes. Alrighty, guys, driver meeting has been concluded. Here is your starting lineup for the debut race here at Daytona in High Velocity Racing League. Starting in the first place position, barring a win in the duels that we had last week, we've got the number 28 here, Clint Hackett. Looks like he is in first place. Are we having some issues with the grid here on this? Maybe we need to reload this and try this again. There we go. Starting in the first place spot, again, barring the win at the duel here, we've got the 28 of Clint Hackett. He's going to be starting on the inside row next to the number 54 Chevrolet of Randy Post. In the third place spot, we've got another gentleman by the name of Randy. We've got Randy Cornwell and the number 22 Chevrolet Silverado. In the fourth place spot, the number 4 of Dustin Bloodworth coming out of Georgia. In the fifth place position, we've got Brad Dorr in his Ford F-150. Sixth place, we've got Jason Arbel in his 86 Chevy Silverado. Starting in the seventh spot on the inside row, we've got the 15 of Justin Nava. He's also going to be rocking the Chevrolet Silverado tonight. In the eighth place position, starting on the outside row, we've got the 11 truck of Reed Sanders. Just behind him, we've got the 93 of Thomas Long in his Bass Pro Shops Tracker Off-Road Chevy Silverado. And rounding out the last driver in the top 10, we've got the number 31 and fellow broadcaster of the league, Mr. Matthew Chase. In the 11th place position, we've got the number 53 of Chris Winiger. Starting on his outside, we've got the 52 of Sean Happy Happick. Starting behind him on the inside row, we've got the number 19 of Andre Carvalho, a name that we've seen here last season make some waves on the grid. And in the number 21, starting in 14th place, we've got Tim Clements. And look at this, it happened again. In the 15th place position, we've got the number 44 of Tim Rourke. I hope I am pronouncing that correctly. So it's got some back-to-back names here. And the 16th position, Daniel Quinn in his Chevrolet Silverado in his Buc-ee's livery, gray paint. And the 17th spot here, Bryce Tucker in the number 7 Ford F-150. Number 13 is going to be starting on his outside, Mr. David Meacham and his camshaft Toyota TRD Pro Tundra. Another returning name here starting on this row here, we've got the number 34 of Kendon Cook. And rounding out the top 20, we've got the number 46 in Christian Noble. right, guys. Well, thank you for that. Got everything corrected here again. Please tell me you guys at least heard the grid.
Well, this is definitely not what we wanted to see so far. Obviously, it was a restart issue at the beginning. It was, pretty much just accordion. Somebody slowed down up front, which caused the accordion in the back, and just a couple drivers got together.
Yeah, we have seen quite a bit of that here. Hopefully that's not the trend, but nonetheless, I think these guys can get it cleaned up a little bit here on this next restart. That would be great. I'm sure they will, though. I've got confidence in them. All right, guys. Sorry for the slight silence there. Had something in the background I had to take care of really quick, but we are back. Lights are off on the pace car as we're coming into turn 2 here. Hopefully we can get a little bit of a cleaner restart here this time around. Looks like the stages for tonight. We've got the first stage is going to be on lap 17, so don't think that fuel is going to be much of an issue here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like the 2 car is going to end up with a EOL as well. He came into a closed pit, and from what I heard, he also had a speeding penalty, so that's going to hurt.
Yeah, still early on, though, in the race, so plenty of time to make up for those mistakes.
Oh yeah, we'll get some more cautions, I'm sure. He's the only car a lap down from what I can tell, so.
Yeah, I'm showing the 74, I believe, of Mike Mangus showing to be a lap down, as well as potentially the 58 in Brian Lewis, which may be, nope, I guess he blinked, but I'm showing 2 cars a couple laps down. It looks like Lewis is 3 laps down and Mangus is 1, so not too much problems there for Mr. James Efall there, as he will still be on the lead lap at least. You see these cars rounding turn 4, coming back into the restart zone. And we're wrecking again already. This needs to be cleaned up.
Here we go.
Yeah, this needs to be cleaned up here, because we can't be doing this here. See what happens on this one. I mean, we see the same thing, just another stack up. Guys gotta be on their P's and Q's here. Looks like we are still green flag racing, though. Nonetheless, I thought that would have for sure brought the caution out, but it looks like we're green flag racing. See these guys starting to get lined up here. Inside line's got a lot of momentum. See a couple cars diving off the pit road. Wonder if we maybe have some restart violations or some penalties there. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but... Or maybe he's just trying to get out of the hornet's nest. But we see the 28 and the 54. Lincoln back up here. Had some late work in the duels last time around. Saw those guys hooking up pretty good together, so that trend continues for now. See a couple guys moving around here towards the front or towards the rear. Looks like Sean Happick in the 17th spot right now, just riding that high line behind former fellow driver and Chris Winiger. They've got some experience around each other, but outside line kind of dying here just a little bit. Some of these drivers just looking to get towards the bottom, where I would say at times it would be a little bit safer. And then with that issue we had there on the restart, we got a couple other trucks that are just lined up here. And again, a long race, so a lot of race left for some of these guys to make their way back around. As your point there, Will, I'm sure we will see some more cautions.
Yeah, we definitely will. There's a lot going on right now. I don't know, man. Like I said, right at the beginning, just everybody's according, and I've mentioned it quite a few times, unfortunately. But these drivers, you know, they end up slowing down. One happens up front. If somebody slows down, and then the guys in back see the green flag and they start going, and before you know it, they're running into the back of the cars in front of them. So that's pretty much what happens. Same thing as the first caution.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there was any advice that I could give to you guys, if maybe you guys are coming back and watching the broadcast, is if you are in the middle or the back of the pack, do not go on green. Go when the trunk in front of you goes, and that'll save a lot of that trouble there. But looks like the top line now starting to get organized here, get settled in a little bit, looking to make a little bit of momentum on the top as some guys are ducking out, maybe just going for Tim's, but we see the 22 of Randy Cornwell hop out, and looks like he's going to be diving down on the inside, looking to take control of that bottom line and get out towards the front. And based on the fuel calculations, we're looking at about 20 laps is about the fuel window if things were to go green. So with cautions, that window, of course, can and will be extended, but fuel not going to be much of an issue here as we're on lap 9 of 70, and the first stage again being at lap 17. So not too many laps left here in this stage. Fuel shouldn't be an issue. See these guys up front dodging and weaving just a little bit, but everybody keeps it straight. See a little bobble there out of the 19, getting a little bit of an off-centered push there by the 88, but keep it clean. Green flag stays out. On board here with the 51 of Alex Nuz. Looks like he's in a pretty decent position, still hanging on to this lead pack draft here, but he's far enough back where if something were to go down, hopefully he can get through the mess without too many issues there. Coming up on some lap traffic potentially already, however, again with that restart, getting some of these guys separated here. See how that plays out as these trucks are too wide coming into turn 3. But this is the kind of racing we wanted to see here. Hopefully the caster's curse does not become a thing here, but a little bit of side drafting, a little sketchy moment there between the 28 of Clint Hackett and the 4 of Dustin Bloodworth, but again, we're still green flag, and that's going to separate that 22 a little bit, but these guys will be able to tuck into that draft and get right back to them. So making some good green flag laps here coming to the stage, and that is the difference here. I think last week was a little bit more so about survival, whereas this week, we're points racing now. Stage points matters, positions matter, so these guys aren't going to be as patient as maybe they were last week. You see two teammates here, the number 9 and the number 99 of Mike Kufel and Sean Wilder, just riding around with the 30 of Aaron Creighton tagging along there, just turning laps and just trying to survive this first stage, right? We've got 5 more laps in this stage, and
That was a hard checkup up front.
yeah, some people dodging and weaving a little bit, but everybody's able to keep it straight.
Yeah, luckily we're coming over the radio and everybody's letting people know, so we're trying to keep this as clean as we can.
You see the main pack here coming up on some lap traffic. The number 95 of KT is going to be trying to fight his way, stay on the lead lap. Would hate to have to use a wave around. As we see a wreck here up front. Oh, this is a big one, boys.
Yeah, it is.
This is what they call the huge one. You saw the beginning of that as the camera panned here. We will hop on board with the 21 of Timothy Clements and see what he sees out of his windshield. Yeah, just tries to drive through it and just about makes his way through it, but it's a little loose under braking there, trying to dodge and weave back and forth. I'd like to go back and see just exactly where this started here. There it is here. We see 7 car of Bryce Tucker getting collected. Yeah, it just looks like the 11 car of Reed Sanders coming up on that lap car there in the number 95 of KT. Just gets a little bit loose in the tri-oval, trying to avoid KT, and when somebody gets hooked like that in front of the field, not very many good things are going to happen. But as we see, let's hop on board here with number 51 of Alex Nuz here. He's able to have his Lightning McQueen moment and make his way through this accident here. As I alluded to just a couple laps prior, in a pretty decent spot to avoid something if this were the case. Yeah, just about keeps his foot in it and able to make it through. Risky, but we've seen it work out before, and no harm, no foul. He gains a lot of positions there, up 23 from where he started off that move alone, so more power to him. See nobody on pit road at the moment here. But by the time we do end up going green flag racing, we will be coming up on the conclusion of the first stage. And here we go. We see these drivers diving down pit road. A lot of trucks torn up already. We'll see if some of these guys elect to be a little bit more patient throughout the end of this race here. A lot of trucks going to be torn up on that one. But most everybody makes it through their box clean. We see the number 4 of Dustin Bloodworth. Looks like he may have elected just to take fuel only. Everybody making their way back out on the track. Again, we've got some guys electing to use their fast repair after an incident that big. And look at that. Justin Nava finds his way through the field up to this point. Gets himself in the second place position. And a fellow teammate behind him in the 51 truck of Alex Nuz. We saw him make that shades of Lightning McQueen through that last wreck and jumps about half the field. So we got 2 hyperdrive drivers up here in the top 5. We'll see what that'll do for this restart here, if they're able to maintain that. And from what it's looking like here, Will, I believe we may have a green-white checkered for the stage. And that looks like he might be actually doing some race control at the moment. See a couple more takers there on pit road. Now, I do want to preface to you guys that are in the chat. First and foremost, I hope you guys are in the family already. But this is our rookie truck series. We do host 3 leagues, or 3 nights of racing a week. Excuse me. We have rookie trucks, and then of course we've got A trucks and Xfinity. So, rookie trucks is exactly as it sounds. This league is tailored for some of these drivers that are just looking to kind of get their feet wet with the series on the oval side of things, or maybe they're just completely new to iRacing as a whole. Curious here, it looks like maybe the 51 of Alex Nuz may have elected to dive back down pit road. Maybe he didn't go before, or yeah, so he dives down pit road. So front of the field cycles out here just a little. But we do see these guys lining back up here. We'll get confirmation from William Kern once he makes his way back into the booth. Got a lot to handle tonight here, it looks like, with race control, but we may be having a green-white checkered for the stage. So any amount of give and take that was still left is going to be thrown out the window for these next couple laps, as we see these drivers getting lined back up. Pace car in the middle of turns 3 and 4, looking to make its way back out of turn 4 and make that infamous iRacing pace car dive down to the inside, down pit road. And there it goes. We'll hop on board here with the 22 of Randy Cornwell as he enters the Geico restart zone. Green flag back out in the air. And if I'm not mistaken, we may have already come to the conclusion of the stage here based off of some background information. So again, we'll get confirmation from William once he gets back in here. But great start on the inside line here, the number 22. And now that we've gotten Kern back up in the booth, was that the stage?
That was the stage, yes. I just, right now 17, so this is where it would have ended actually before we even went green. So I called it.
I gotcha. So what, if you recall, what does that, what did that stage look like there as far as points earning for the at least the top 3? As we see these guys coming back around through the tri-oval. Now with 2 pretty large accidents that we've seen, that may be a good amount of these drivers out of contention for this race. We see a couple guys still in their pit boxes. Potentially.
Looks like the 86 truck actually got into the 22 a little hard, pushed them right below the yellow there, but they collected it just fine.
Yeah, I did see that. They stay green, and again, we've kind of seen a little bit of a common theme here where this bottom line gets a lot of momentum and the top line kind of has to take a little bit of extra time to work its way in. But they are doing just that. Couple guys on pit road still. I'm not sure if that's based off damage or some potential strategy in play, or maybe a mistake on pit road.
I believe it was a 53. Mr. Windiger actually got a passing the pace car black flag, so I know he's going to be serving that. Looks like 21's up and around in the wall. Right down into the A car. We got a wreck on the... It might... There it is.
There it is. Yeah, we see the tail end of that. Yeah, I was on board with Alex Nuz. It looked like Alex Nuz and Justin
Right, Danny.
Nava were down on pit road. We were taking a look at that as we hop on board here with the 21 of Timothy Clements there. 58 just looking to make an aggressive 3-wide move and was not clear. And there we go. I mean, they just about got it collected, but not quite. Yeah, not really sure really what exactly happened there, if he just got a big run or what, but almost kind of just runs through 21 of Timothy Clements there. Brian Lewis here. We'll hop on board with him and see what that looked like from his perspective. Pretty uber aggressive move there, but nonetheless, yeah, just gets a run, looks to make it 3 wide, which I don't have a problem with, but I don't know if he kind of panics here, but we see him get to the quarter panel of the 21 and kind of just makes a slight nudge to the right, and there goes the 21.
From what I'm seeing, we have only 23 cars left on the lead lap.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few drivers get caught up in some issues tonight. So, as much as I hate to say it, I'm not necessarily surprised by that. I'm hoping that now that we've seen quite a few incidents here, that maybe some of these guys will get it cleaned up here just a little bit and go back to green flag racing here. We got a couple laps in before inevitably the caution came back out.
Super speedway racing, man. And it's a first super speedway of the season, so all these guys are, like I said, trying to get used to each other, racing around each other, and there's a lot of calamity out there right now with 40 drivers. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it cleans up a little bit, get some good racing going on.
Yeah, that's all we can really hope for, and we want to be encouraging to these guys, as we know how racing can be, and all in all, I mean, definitely a lot of drama so far tonight, but I've got faith that our guys can get this cleaned up a little bit here and try to get it going. But nonetheless, I mean, we've got Xfinity racing tomorrow to look forward to as well, and by nature, that should be a little bit of a different experience for the drivers and the broadcast. We'll see if that does hold true. So far, we've got 14 drivers scheduled to attend tomorrow, but that's tomorrow, and this is today. So let's see what we can make happen here. Lights are back off on the pace car once again. See the number 4 of Dustin Bloodworth has made his way towards the front and has been able to stay there for a majority of the race. He's able to keep himself out of trouble up to this point. We'll see if that trend continues. See some of these guys last pitted on lap 14. Not too many rain flag laps have been ran here tonight, so Heading down pit road has not necessarily been that much of a necessity up to this point. See a couple guys a lap down. It looks like Justin Nava in the 15 truck is the first car on the lead, or excuse me, the first car 1 lap down. So if he's able to stay clean of any X's, and we do have another incident, that will make his way back up onto the lead lap. So again, as Will mentioned, 23 drivers still left here on the lead lap as the field gets tightened up as we come out of turn 4 here. See if these guys can get a better restart here as a group. See a couple of these big drivers a couple laps down as we see a little bit of stacking up, but everybody just gets it handled. Green flag back out at Daytona. Number 4 of Dustin Butterworth getting a pretty good start here. Looks like so far everybody's kept it straight, kept it clean, so the green flag will stay out here momentarily. Now we see that kind of late run push that the Highline gets here off of these restarts. Side by side coming down the backstretch into turn 3 here.
Got a few guys actually dropping into the back a little bit.
Big wreck again. The 58 up and around into the outside wall. .58 of Brian Lewis caught up in some more trouble here tonight. Not exactly sure if that was his doing or not. We just saw it at the tail end of that line there coming out of turns 4.
Looks like he just had a head of steam and came up into the 9 car a little bit too soon. He just wasn't clear.
Yeah, and that's the second time that we've seen that here. 2 out of the last 3 cautions are pretty similar with the same driver here. Look to see if, I don't know if that'll be his fast repairs gone, but the number 9 of Mike Kufel gets caught up. The number 34 of Kenny Cook gets spun around, and we see, looks like maybe potentially the 87 of Thomas Fuller all the way down on the inside line, trying to avoid the wreck, and 58 just not holding his brakes and coming down towards pit road with a head of steam in reverse and nowhere for Tommy to go. That's definitely going to be a fast repair for Thomas Fuller, if not be his race if he hasn't used one already. So the 4th caution of the night in just 24 laps here, as we unfortunately had to mention there at the top of the broadcast. Not what you really want to see at all. But nonetheless, we've got some drivers here in the chat. Bobby Grady looks like he's in here, so appreciate you stopping by. And
looks like Mr. Justin Nava, 15 car, actually got the lucky dog, so he should be back on the lead lap.
There you go. Well, there's a little bit of good news for us here. Saw a close call with the 51 of Alex Nuz. Able to make it through that caution as well. Matter of fact, he's dodged his fair share of incidents tonight. Let's see if we can't get him up here in the booth. Hey, Mr. Nuz, this is Bryce up here in the booth. You got a copy, man?
What's happening?
Man, you tell me. I was just on board with you here for some of these last couple cautions, and shades of Lightning McQueen from me, if I have to say. I mean, you've been dodging bullets out there. You think your luck can continue, and you think you're going to be caught up in one of these, or are you going to be able to make it there at the end of the race?
Man, I feel like I'm in the Matrix out here. People are just going everywhere, and I'm just sliding through. I've came out clean so far on all these. Unfortunately, I made a mess up. I made my way up there pretty good, and then I went into the pit by not paying attention and got black flag for it. And now I'm pretty far back.
Gotcha. Well, I was wondering what was going on there. We did see you up there in the third place spot, but nonetheless, man, yeah, you've been dodging and weaving, as you said, and have been able to keep it clean so far. So good luck to you here. It looks like we've got about, another 50-ish or 45 laps or so. So good luck to you, man. Hopefully you can keep it clean, and truck looks good out there, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's I've made it from the back to the front once already, so we should hopefully do it again. It should be all right. We got plenty of time left.
Good luck, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll get you back in there. Good luck to you, man, and hopefully we can maybe see you here at the end of this thing for an interview.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, you heard it there first. 51 of Alex Nuz dodging and weaving his way through the field. A little bit of a slight mistake with a pit road incident, but nothing he can't come back from. Lights are back off the pace car again. Number 4 of Dustin Bloodworth still looks like he's able to control this inside line for now. He's been able to, fortunate enough that all of the accidents have been behind him and he hasn't been part of them just yet, but we'll see if that's a trend that continues. But with a lot of these trucks here showing to be either out of the race or on pit road, maybe this thing will clean up just a little bit. And got the stage coming up here in about 8 or 9 laps or so once we go back to green flag race. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, it'd be about 8 laps. Yep.
So hopefully we can get ourselves a good little run here. Looks like Justin Nava, KT just kind of hanging out here. KT's still showing at least 1 lap down. 51 of Alex Nuz now another driver for Hyperdrive is the next car here in line for the Lucky Dog, as we see Sean Wilder getting organized back up his way towards the field behind his teammate in the number 9 truck. We've seen him have his fair share of incidents tonight, but the traditional dive down pit road from the pace car, Geico restart zone. Green flag back here at Daytona again for, I believe, the 5th or 6th time. There we go. So far, everybody gets it clean through the tri-oval. A little bit more separation here. Do you think that's these guys trying to get settled in a little bit, or a little bit of timidness, or what do you think that's kind of cause for?
I've been kind of on them about the accordion effect there with the restart, so I think they're actually starting to kind of just give people room at the beginning a little bit and not just mash into the gas or brake real hard or anything. So last couple restarts have been nice and clean. We've actually gotten a lap or 2 in.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see the field go side by side for the first probably 10 or 12 rows here.
Looks like the 44 truck and 51, I believe, are coming in for some black flags serving them.
Gotcha. So that'll more than likely, depending on what their penalties are, put them a lap down. Yeah, 51 down pit road again. I don't know if there was another mistake there. We'll have to see what that is. But we're still rocking and rolling. I believe that'll put KT will be the first car in line for that Lucky Dog. That's a driver that controlled a majority of the race here in the duels, so a little bit of misfortune here for him this far, but still a decent amount of time to recover. And we see that outside line now getting a huge run here. The number 60 of Brad Dorr. Behind him is the 77 of Trey Young, looking to make their way towards the front as they get a little bit off-centered and disorganized, but should have a little bit of extra momentum on that top line. We'll see if they can clear down to the bottom and put themselves at the head of the field. And as I say that, the bottom line is a little bit more organized. They get hooked up and they're getting just the edge out here now. Still too wide into turn 1, some side drafting now. These guys maybe a little bit more settled in here, gaining a little bit more rhythm, just trying to get to the next stage here in the next 6 laps. The 93 towards the middle of the field there has a little bit of a moment, but he stays green. Goes down just below the yellow line, but is able to safely enter back onto the track.
Yeah,
Now-
we're about 5 laps from stage end, so things might get a little hairy here for a minute for those that want some stage points, but hopefully everybody's still thinking about the bigger picture.
Yeah, I mean, you know what they say, to finish first you must finish, and that could be more true here tonight. But curious to see if the 60 of Brad Dorr is going to hop down in front of the Ford truck here. We've seen a couple laps in a row now. He's gotten the edge off the exit of the corners and has chosen to stay up high. So maybe a little bit of trust there with the 77 of Trey Young able to push his way towards the front as we see the 60 truck is now clear. But as I mentioned, he's able to stay up in that top lane as they're 3 wide, just a row behind him. We'll see how that ends out for everybody here. And as I say that, they're getting a little
45 down to
loose.
the 86.
Yep,
Oh,
stacking up just a little bit so far, still green. A couple guys checking up and saving it. 12 is
yep,
having a wild
no
ride.
caution. Oh my God, good driving on everybody's part.
Yeah, very heads-up driving for some of those drivers. That's really unfortunate for the 22 of Randy Cornwell, as he was a driver we have seen up front for a majority of the night. But again, congratulations on the heads-up driving from these guys. And we see a little 4-car breakaway now. If I'm these guys here, I don't want to race, right? I want to gain as much of a lead as this pack behind us as I can and just try to finish. And it looks like that may be what they're looking to do. But you know, that bottom line getting disorganized as it did, that did allow the 60 and the 77 to clear down to the bottom lane. Gets their way towards the point here as we see the 77 Bully Dog Coffee Company of Trey Young just tucking in behind here, tucking in behind of the 60 truck of Brad Dorr. These top 4 trucks on a little bit of a breakaway with about 3 seconds and more on this lead pack behind them.
Yeah, if these guys lead pack behind them can actually get together and start pushing, they could catch them.
Yeah, we've got 3 laps to go here and 4-car breakaway, but if these guys, as you mentioned, are jockeying and racing the way they are, they're not going to come up with very much ground on this lead pack. So if these guys up front can keep it clean and we can get back to the green and white checkered flag for the second stage, these guys in the top 4 may have solidified some stage points for tonight. Cycle back and forth between the 2 packs as the guys up front should be able to keep it organized and make their way back around. A lot of movement here still in this pack. They've now lost 2.5 seconds since that accident has happened. So, you know, you want to be aggressive. You want to try to make your way, but, you know, stage points at least paying out to the top 10. So these guys at this point may just be accepting the loss of time that they have and just trying to get those extra 3 or 4 points that they can get. See a little bit of breakup in the field, though. We see number 54 of Randy Post leading this pack. As I say that, the 12 of Christopher Dyke gets an inside push from the 13 of David Meacham, able to edge out, but the 54 fighting back on the outside with the 21 of Timothy Clements pushing behind him. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We see 3 teammates here on the inside here. It looks like that lead truck has a little bit of damage, so they're going to be even more so off pace, even though they are a team of 3. We'll see what happens if these guys can navigate their way around. That's going to stack up the bottom line. The top row using them as a bit of a pick. Dangerous, but I guess still clean, and we keep it going here. Lap 34 of 70. So this is going to be coming to the green and white checkered flag. We still see the 60 truck of Brad Dorr up front, but we see the 4 of Dustin Bloodworth and the 45 of Corey Moore make their way to the outside, looking to see if they can get a little bit of side draft and try to gain that extra point or 2. And we saw last season just an extra point or 2 could be the huge difference in a championship or just making your way towards the playoffs. So get a little bit of momentum on the outside. The 4 coming up on the 60 gets a little bit of draft from the 44. Tight battle to the line. And I believe Dustin Bloodworth edged out that lap, and it looks like he did. So he's going to take the stage. Incredible run from the 4 to get that side draft coming towards the line. That had to be separated by just a couple thousandths. But kudos to these drivers for that save that we saw there. That could have been another massive wreck, but they do keep it clean. Heads up driving from these guys, and I've got to say I was a little scared when I saw that go down just based off what we've seen thus far, but that kind of warms my heart up just a little bit that gives me some hope that some of these guys can continue to stay heads up driving and avoid a big one, because again, had that happened in front of the field, that would have been another huge wreck.
Yeah, that was actually really good. Like you said, I was pretty surprised by it, that they kept it clean. I mean, you're doing 180, easy 180 to the corner, and for somebody to go down on the apron like that and come back up and keep control of it and everybody behind them, that was pretty good. I was impressed.
Yeah, again, kind of a proud dad moment there, if you will. But yeah, that's again, that brings Dustin Bloodworth to the head of the field here. So as they're scored behind the pace car now, it looks like the number 4 again was able to take the stage win there. Just behind him, we've got the 60 of Brad Dorr. Maybe not an official teammate, I have to confirm if these two are, but the Trey Young stuck to the 60 of Brad Dorr and helped contributed to that run getting up there. And then we see the 45 of Corey Moore in the 4th place spot, and rounding out the top 5 for that stage, we've got the 12 truck and Christopher Dyke. David Meacham able to come away in a 6th place finish. It looks like he and Christopher Dyke were the lead of that second group there. And the number 54, Randy Post, another driver that we've mentioned quite often here on the broadcast thus far in the second season. He comes out with a 7th place finish. We've seen the 21 of Tim Clements able to salvage a 8th place spot for that second stage. We've seen him come into a little bit of trouble tonight, so that's good to see that he's been able to at least salvage something. And then we've got the 86 and Jason Arbel in the 9th place spot, and then Samuel Moser rounding out the top 10 for that second stage. So congratulations to those drivers for earning their stage points. And we see these drivers diving down pit road. Once these guys cycle out, we're going to try to see if we can get in touch with Justin Bloodworth after that stage and kind of get some post-stage thoughts from him. Here we go. We see a majority of the field diving down to pit road, looking to get their gas tanks fuel, that Sunoco race fuel, and maybe put on some new, fresh Goodyear rubber. And it looks like from that stop time there, it looks like the 4 of Dustin Bloodworth may have elected just to go for fuel only. And while we've got a little bit of time here, let's see if we can't hop on board here with the 4 of Dustin Bloodworth and, again, just hear some of his thoughts after that second stage. Hey, Dustin, this is Bryce up here in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Hey, buddy.
Oh, not much. Well, first and foremost, man, congratulations for coming to the green and white checkered there for the second stage. Able to make a late dive to the outside there and get a little bit of side draft and just edge out for that stage. I mean, we've seen you, for the most part, controlling the race so far up front, and hopefully that luck continues for you. What are you looking to do here as we round out this third and final stage?
I think right now the goal is just to get to the pay window. That's the only goal right now. So don't try not to get back in the pack. Just keep it out front. Keep on doing what we're doing here.
Absolutely.
What's the fuel window looking like out there?
So you get about 19, 20 laps. So we're going to restart here at about 38. So you should see everybody pit about lap 58-ish if we go green the whole way.
Oh yeah, so really not. You'll have plenty of fuel then for one stop then, huh?
Yeah. It should only be a one-stop last stage here. I don't think even if you, unless it's just like a ton of cautions, but even then, I don't know if you can make up that many laps. That's almost a whole nother fuel run you'll have to make up.
Yeah, let's hopefully get some hopefully we get some green flag stops here. I'd like to. I think it'd be interesting to see some green flags out of these guys.
Yeah, I tell you, I mean, the racing at the front's been really good. This that 60 truck, he's a heck of a pusher, and so is that 86. So, three of us have had a pretty good back and forth here.
Well, and that's exactly what I wanted to mention to you. A little bit of misfortune there for two of your teammates in the 52 of Sean Happick and the 87 of Thomas Fuller. So, I mean, is there anybody that you kind of got your eye out, just kind of looking to help you, stay up front? Because, teammates are very key at a track like Daytona or even Talladega. So, I mean, anybody you got your eye on out there to try to help you stay up front?
Well, like I said, in that 60 car, 60 truck really worked well there. On that high line, he pushed me real well, and then the 86 has been pushing me really well on the bottom. So, just try to stay with those two guys.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate you coming up here in the booth and talking with us for just a little bit. We'll let you get back to it. Good luck to you, man. And maybe if everything goes your way, we might be able to see you at the end of this race for a post-race interview on the podium.
I appreciate it. Hope I get to talk to y'all here at the end.
Yes, sir. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. And, I mean, I think he summed it up pretty well for us. Being there at the end, right when it matters, that's kind of what, that's kind of what we need. And he mentioned the hard work that the 60 was putting in behind him to keep him up front. So we'll see if he elects to kind of continue to work with the 60. As I mentioned, two of the teammates of the Dustin Bloodworth camp are not totally out of this race, but not in a very good position to help him. So we'll see if we can get a green flag run here and maybe have some green flag pit stops. And as Will mentioned, as long as everything goes well, we should only have one more stop until we get this thing going back again. So we'll see how that'll play out. But he elects to stay on the bottom and stay on that inside line. And we've seen him kind of work the high line. So maybe if he can get a decent enough start, he might hop up in front of that 60 truck on the high line and try to stay up front. Geico restart zone for these drivers. Green flag back up in the air. And again, the Ford does get a great start across the start finish line.
This is that one track you do not want that big of a start on, though. Well, he may end up getting freight trained here if he's not careful.
Yeah, absolutely. We see the 60 and the 77 hooked up here on the top line once again. Looking to make a late run. And there goes that momentum on the top. The 60 just edging out here on the number 4 truck. So far, so good. A little bit of disconnection here as we actually see it blinking out here from Trey Young. Trey Young of the 77 truck is completely disappeared. We'll see if he does come back, and if he does, what that'll look like. That's going to slow that outside line down just momentarily. You see just how much momentum is lost there on that top row as Dustin Bloodworth is about 2 to 3 trucks ahead of that outside line. 86 truck now. Jason Arnold soaking up to his rear bumper, trying to push him through turns 1 and 2 down the backstretch and gain that momentum. Hop on board here with a 28 of Clint Hackett. That was our pole sitter tonight. Not a bad run out of him so far. He's about mid-pack here. It's on the bottom line.
13's down on the apron here, or the 12 car maybe it is.
Yeah, a couple cars down there on the apron just looking to safely rejoin the track. And we hop on board here with the 28 of Clint Hackett. See what it looks like from his view. 184 miles an hour entering the tri-oval on the bottom line behind the number 98. See just how tight these trucks run together. A little bit of movement.
Yeah, you're fine. Just. Yeah, I can talk a little if you need to unmute. We good? Looks like we're keeping it clean right up and around here. Same drivers up front, Dustin Bloodworth and Brad Dorr, first and second. So we'll see if we can stay green here. Right now, we're pretty much just riding around this track. We're not going to have any more stages. Last one was the last one, so it's right to the end now. Hopefully, no more cautions. That'd be fantastic. Oh, we got a little 3-wide action going on back here, but everybody's staying clean. Believe it or not, this might be the longest stint of green flag we've had so far, and I do love seeing it. We got some good, clean racing out there now. It's good to see, for sure. I mean, nobody likes to pace around 60, 70 miles an hour on a track like this. It takes forever, so the green flags are definitely welcome. Had a little bit of movement up front. Brad Dorr is leading right now on the bottom line. Top line's going to be Samuel Moser in the 8 truck. Dustin Bloodworth is second row inside, and James Afaw on the 2 car is going to be up top, second row. So not too much movement up top, just a little jiggle. I don't know if that's got anything to do with fuel saving, maybe people tucking in behind or what's going on. But again, we're all clean. A lot of race to go.
Yeah, we see 24 to go left on the scoreboard here. Guys are keeping it clean up to this point. Again, as you mentioned, as I say that, a little bit of movement.
3 wide action going on up here too.
Guys are.
There's a lot of sideways movement up front. I can't believe everybody kept it clean right there.
Yeah, still keeping it clean. As you mentioned, 3 wide from these drivers now. Trying to gain as much track position as they can before we come up on the green flag pit window. See a couple of these drivers up front that are actually a lap down, so they may be trying to make their way on the lead lap, and inevitably, if we do have another caution, try to put themselves in an even better position. We see the number 54 now. If Randy Post take the lead, and we see the 51 of Alex Nuz there, lap down, just doing the gentleman thing of just hopping down to the apron and letting these guys race it out. We saw what happened when these guys came up on some lap traffic earlier, but nonetheless, that 53 from Chris Winiger, he is a lap down, but he is leading that outside line.
Yeah, I mean, when you come up to a lap car and you're the big group and everything, the lap car is going to be a good 20 mile per hour off. So trying to get around them can be difficult, especially with 3 or 4 wide situations.
Yeah, but so far so good. Everybody managing to keep it clean, and we'll see here. It looks like Winiger actually scored 2 laps down, so if I'm the 54, I don't know that I necessarily mind this right now. I mean, tuck in behind a car that you're not battling for position.
With the 2.
And there they go. They're still wrecking.
8 car round.
The 8 car round. A couple cars off track here. A couple on the backstretch. Green flag still out, and there it is. We saw the 4 car there have a little moment there where he almost turns upside down up on his lid. Hop on board with him coming off the turn 2.
Yeah, it looks like the 2 truck actually came up a little bit into the 4. Got the 4 sideways, and then the 8 truck kind of got run over from behind from the checkup, so.
Yeah, hit the nail right there on the head. The 4 truck just trying to take the extra momentum that he had and go 3 wide on the leaders, and the 2 car just wasn't aware that he was so close and hooks him around. So that is the 6th caution of the night. Of course, we've got 1 scheduled caution there at the end of stage 2, so 5 on-track cautions tonight, and right now, as it looks, I believe the number 99 of Sean Wilder is the first lap car scored a lap down, so as long as he stayed clean in that incident, he should be the lucky dog as we see the 4 get into the 44 there. So a little bit of a checkup and a little nudge. Hate to see it if you're the 4 truck and Dustin Bloodworth, but at least a positive note to take from that, if there is any, is truck is still clean. Don't believe he'll need to use a fast repair, and he's not out of this race just yet. So definitely going to lose a lot of track position there, but nonetheless, he's still got a dog in this fight.
What was he saying the pit window was? Didn't he say 18?
19 to 20 is what he said. Now, I believe, we've seen him for a majority of the night running up front, so that number may be able to be stretched out for some of these guys middle of the pack that are going to be in the draft.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right then, because we're going to be coming around. Looks like lights are still on the pace car, so we got at least one more pace lap to do. So we'll be coming around with probably the start at 53. So I would leave 17 laps on the race, so everybody should be good on fuel.
Famous last words. And if the trend of this race goes as it's been, fuel may not even really be that much of an effect, as we may see another caution, or if not, maybe 2. Coming around, I believe this will trigger the lights off on the pace car, but 23 cars, on the lead lap still. And there it is, the lights are off. iRacing official pace car once again.
Yeah, a lot of these car trucks are going to be getting the wave around since they didn't come down pit road, trying to get their laps back.
Yeah, we see.
Looks like
drivers
54
there.
truck is actually going to be your leader. I think about 5 cars got to get around that pace car. I think they're going to be banking on another yellow. Otherwise, I don't think they're going to make it on fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if they can catch the pack, they may be able to save close to enough. Well, no, because again, they would have been out on that last stint. So yeah, they're definitely going to need a caution to have a dog to fight here in this race. But nonetheless, we still have a decent amount of cars a lap down, and a couple cars a few laps down. But one truck I want to highlight here, a little bit of misfortune for the 22 of Randy Cornwell. We saw him get involved in that last incident before the caution, that they were able to save it when he got hooked into the wall. So his truck is a little beaten up and bruised. I'm not sure if he has a fast repair left still, but nonetheless, he's still holding on. He's still fighting. It just sucks to see a front runner kind of have a little bit of misfortune, but that's kind of the name of the game when it comes to these super speedway races.
Absolutely, and I'm not even sure much of anybody, at least half the crowd out there doesn't have a fast repair left, that's for sure. We've had quite a few stack ups, whether it be on restarts, which are luckily low speed incidents, but even the slightest ding here can slow you down quite a bit. Especially if you're not in the draft and you got to stick your nose out to get around somebody or something, it's kind of like hitting a brick wall with that damage. So
yeah, I mean, we saw before that last caution, we saw the three trucks there in tandem, I believe from K&W. K&W Motorsports. We saw the 53, the 9, and the 99 get hooked up, but the lead car had damage, so they were still off pace even as a group of 3. But nonetheless, the green flag is in the air waving at Daytona. 18 laps to go. We'll see if we can't get a run here and try to finish this thing out. But look at the 15 of Justin Nava, kind of a quiet night for him for the most part. He's up in the 3rd place spot. hoping to miss all the drama that we've had up to this point, and hopefully the clean racing up front continues as he's looking to make a hard charge to the front. A little bit of movement down the backstretch. Guys kind of choosing to get in the line that they feel is the safest with the most momentum.
Yeah, we got some 3 wide back here a little bit.
Yeah, some movement.
Looks like they double up again. I think they thought twice about that 3 wide so soon.
Yeah, I mean, still 18 laps to go, 17 once they cross the line here, and we see kind of 2 packs here, shades of probably what late to early 2000s, I believe, when they kind of separated the field on some tracks. It's kind of what we're looking like here, but 21 cars still on the lead lap, and the number 99 of Sean Wilder is the next car at this moment in time to be awarded with a lucky dog, barring any late race cautions. But again, we see 3 wide, the number 30 of Aaron Creighton looking to make a move on the 13 and the 53. He does. He gets around them and makes his way towards the outside line. Scored in the 13th position right now. A little bit of damage on that left rear, but he's still able to make a little bit of forward progress.
Yeah, the rear of the truck isn't too big of a deal. I mean, it's still important, but not quite as important as the front nose is. That's what's going to keep you down, keep that downforce down, and keep the wind flowing around your truck. You get any front end damage, and it's going to hurt you a lot here. Rear end damage, you'll feel it a little bit in the corners and everything. It'd be a lot looser than what you should be. But I think he'll be just fine. I don't know if he uses quick repair already, or if he's just saving it, or what.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody in this field has a fast repair left, I mean, that may just be the lottery.
He just got turned out.
Yep, and we see him sliding down the infield, gets collected with the 95 of KT McCann. We still have some trucks spinning, some guys piling in. We see the 4 of Dustin Bloodworth around again up top.
Looks like the 53 might have really hit him pretty hard coming into the corner, got him loose, and got him right down into the inside line.
We'll hop on to work with the 53 and see. Yeah, tied on his bumper here on the backstretch, and yeah, and maybe, I don't know if that was, I hate to say this word, but I don't want to say net code necessarily, but I'll have to check and see. I don't know what the speed difference was there when he hit him, but that bump just really upset the back of the 30, and as you mentioned, kind of sent him around, and we saw what happened from there. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm not really sure kind of how to really call that. I mean, it didn't look like anything too crazy out of the 53 truck. I mean, arguably not the most center of hits, but not something that should have yanked the truck around like that, in my opinion. But saw what happened. We see the 4 truck almost on his lead again, gets bounced around like a ping pong ball, and he's still got some damage as he's still getting hit. Some of these guys able to get checked up and not get into any more trouble. You see 15 to go here, coming to the line. A couple of these drivers electing to stay out towards the front. See the 21 of Timothy Clements, the 45 of Corey Moore, the 15 of Justin Nava, and the 86 of Jason Arbel were all trucks that were running up front. I believe the 2 of James E. Fall was as well. So those trucks, thinking they're good on fuel, they're electing to stay out, keep that track position, and try to stay there, as we see the 54 of Randy Post and the 28 of Clint Hackett come down pit road and make their way out. And those were 2 trucks that were starting up front and are about mid-pack of the field right now. So see if they can salvage their night tonight. Still see a decent amount of cars here on pit road. We see these trucks exiting pit road now. Looks like the 4 truck of Dustin Bloodworth still in his box. So thinking that fast repair was probably burned up early on in the race, and he's just sitting there on pit road trying to fix up as much damage as he can before we get back out there to go green flag racing.
Yeah, he got caught up pretty hard in that last wreck there. I mean, he pretty much was a pinball at that point.
Yeah, he definitely was thrown around more than a lot of things there. And you hate to see that, but hopefully he can make a run here. If I'm Dustin, I guess selfishly, if I'm in his position, I'm probably thinking that there's a chance that they're not done wrecking, and he can try to salvage a finish here if some of these cars get a couple DNFs or even worse. So,
I mean, that's the biggest problem with super speedways. That's why I don't like them myself. You can be the best car out there and possibly not even finish the race, or have a really bad finish and everything, and get caught up in stuff. It all really comes down to luck on these tracks.
yeah, and I'm a firm believer in kind of creating your own luck here as much as possible, but not always the case for these drivers, as only so many places that you can go when they're wrecking like they have been tonight. But it's cleaned up here towards the end, a little bit of minor things, and I gotta kind of mention, I don't really see how that last incident happened. I mean, again, sure, it wasn't the squarest of hits from the 53, but kind of weird how it sent that truck around. The only thing that I could maybe see is it looked like there may have been a slight checkup from the 30 of Aaron Creighton as he had some momentum coming on those couple cars ahead, and maybe he checked up as he got hit, and that's kind of what sent him around into the 4 and the 95, and we kind of saw what happened from there.
I mean, yeah, there's a possibility of that for sure. We don't have his telemetry for his throttle and brake input at all to figure that out, but I mean, it was a tough wreck, that's for sure. It looks like he just spun down in the grass. I don't think he got too much damage. If anything, that rear end might not be looking any more prettier than what it was earlier, but again, that shouldn't bother him.
Yeah, I mean, that extra damage that we see on the right rear of the 30 of Aaron Creighton actually came from that hit as well. He is now completely missing the rear bumper. I do know that he did make contact with the 95 and KT McCann as he was sliding through that infield grass, and not having that bumper on like that is actually going to be a pretty big detriment to his speed, as the air is just going to get in that pocket and slow him down, and not really going to be able to push somebody that doesn't have a rear bumper. So we'll see how that plays out for him. Good luck to him.
Up again, Sean.
Hopefully he can make it happen. Yeah, looks like poor Dustin Bloodworth here, unless he's got maybe he did have a fast repair left and he was trying to avoid using it. I'm not sure. Either that or he's got the most badass pit crew on the planet, but his truck's actually looking pretty clean. So sure, he doesn't have the greatest track position, but again, barring any more drama up front or in the middle of the pack, if he can keep it clean, he might not be in a bad spot to try to gain some extra spots. But nonetheless, pace car dives down pit road. We see the 21 enter the Geico restart zone and get an early jump. Makes his way out early on the field. As we've mentioned before, though, the restarts for the leader gaining that separation isn't always the greatest thing. Not as important as maybe a track like a mile and a half or whatever, but we see these trucks working their way into turns 1 and 2 and see if they can get hooked up here. We see the 60 of Brad Doer scored in the 13th position at this moment in time, and we saw him make his way towards the front and really show his presence there. We'll see if he's able to do that again, as we see the 15 and the 45 making a huge run down the backstretch. The 15 of Justin Nava staying glued on that front bumper as we see him go 3 wide here into turn 3. This driver's able to hold it to 2, comes up a little bit on the 46, just backs out, and he just wants to try to finish. He's going to tuck in behind the 2 truck and try to live for another lap here. Leading that outside line. We'll see if a couple drivers will like to hop up and join him as he gets close on the 21 of Timothy Clemens for the side draft, just trying to gain any momentum he can to stay up there, but he's got a good solid 4 to 5 trucks before he has any help on the outside. Bottom line hooked up, and they're looking to go, and they're looking to go fast.
Yeah, it looks like that rear bumper off from Aaron Creighton's truck is definitely not helping. He's losing a lot of spots, a lot of momentum.
Yeah, he's sinking like a rock, but we hop on here with number 15 of Justin Nava for Hyperdrive Esports, and we see just how tight he's holding up onto the 45 of Corey Moore as we see KT down low on the apron. These 2 drivers looking to really make their presence felt up top out front, and just try to be there at the end when it matters and try to avoid any damage that may be caused here in the later laps.
Yeah, we're coming with 9 laps to go here. I'm happy myself, selfishly, to see Nava up there in the 15, Hyperdrive Esports, so hopefully he can bring it home for us, but that 45 is not going to give it to him.
Absolutely not. And if Justin Nava can time a good run here and try to maybe dive to the outside or even the inside and suck up on that quarter panel there and side draft him and bring him on back, he may be able to just edge out like we saw at the end of the second stage with Dustin Bloodworth there, if he can replicate that move. But we see him 3 wide here towards the back.
Yeah,
diving,
we got door
bouncing.
banging going on between the 8 and the 60.
A little bit of bullying, but they make it around for another lap up to this point. Everybody looking to gain as much as they can. That A truck there in the middle of Samuel Moser is not wanting to go down without a fight, but he ends up tucking back in line. And we see top line now gaining some more momentum up top as some of these trucks elect to hop out to the outside line and try to gain some of that forward momentum. We'll see if any of these cars on the bottom catch wind of that run and try to make their way up top as we see the 21 and 46 hop on board with him. If I can find him.
10-car round on the backstretch.
Yep, there it is, and I believe, don't tell me that is the number 4 of Dustin Bloodworth around again. And they're still wrecking the 44 and the 19. We'll have to look into that and see what happened there. See the 19 of Andre Carvalho kind of get hooked in at the end of that. Like to think of him as a pretty clean driver. I don't know if he just got right hooked there at the end or kind of what was going on there with the 44. I'm not sure. We'll hop on board and kind of see where this takes place. On board with the 19, we see a little bit of movement up front. Everybody keeps it clean up to this point. We have a slow truck in the middle. Oh, and there it is. Just a little bit of movement. And see here as 19 comes back up on the track. And I'm not really sure what that was there. But we do see, as Andre comes up onto this, we see a truck, I believe it was the 99. And we'll hop on board here with the K&WI Motorsports High Velocity Racing Truck and Sean Wilder. And we see the 10 truck just checks up a little bit on the outside, and Sean goes to his outside, and a little bit of net code there, I would say. Actually, the 10 just comes up a little bit, and I don't think they actually ever touched and just got stuck together, and that's what brought out that caution. So 8 to go here, as coming up to 7 to go as the pace car is going to cross the finish line. And once again, that'll probably put us back to green flag racing with 7 or 6 to go, if I'm not mistaken.
Looks like Mr. Randy Cornwell, 22 truck got the lucky dog.
Yeah, that's a name that we mentioned there at that last restart. Again, a driver that was up front for a majority of the beginning of the race until he had a little bit of misfortune go his way. So glad to see another contending truck able to make his way back around to the lead lap here. And unfortunate there, if you're Sean Wilder, he was scored the next car to be the lucky dog, and he gets caught up in that incident, and that takes that lucky dog away from him. So a little bit of misfortune there from the 99, but if you're the 22, you're not mad at all. See these trucks single file now down the back stretch here as we're going to be making our way, I believe, to potentially 1 to go, and we'll kind of hop through the field here. We see the number 45 of Corey Moore leading the front pack here, up 23 positions from his restart. We've got Justin Nava in the 15 truck here for Hyperdrive Esports. He's up 5 spots, scored in the second place spot right now. A solid run from the 21 out of Tim Clements as well, as he's up 11 spots from his starting position. And the 46 there of Christian Noble, another name returning back from his second season here. We're glad to have him back, and he's up 16 spots from where he was originally scored. And then we see the number 98 here of John Shields. He's up 23 spots from where he's scored. So even though I do live in Tennessee, I've got to say that is one ugly truck from John Shields, but nonetheless, he's making his way towards the front there. And we see the 86 here of Jason Arbel started 6th, and he's maintaining 6th. So based on how this race has gone, I'd say that's a victory within itself. We see the 2 truck of James Efal has made his way up 28 spots, and he's scored in the 7th place position. And Randy Post in 8th. He's down a couple spots, but nonetheless still running up front. And the number 60 truck of Brad Dorr, we saw him working well up in the top lane with some pushing. So we'll see if he can get his way towards the front row. And then our pole sitter for tonight, the number 28 of Clint Hackett, in the top 10, rounding out the top 10. So still within striking distance if anything happens, but a top 10 here, I would say, after how this race has gone tonight, would not surprise me if he's able to, manage coming away with it. And I hope he does. Good luck to him, and we'll be coming to 5 laps to go here once we cross the line again, and we'll see if we can finish this thing on the green.
Oh, and 30 truck looks like he just got spun around.
Yeah, we're reckoned under caution here. We've got a lot of cars here in the wall turnaround. We'll have to see. We may have to extend that lap, and I can do that for you if need be. Yeah.
I believe it was, I believe another caution did come out.
Well, they weren't even on the green flag, so. But yeah, lights are back on the pace car, so it did correct itself. And yeah, we see it again. Check up, and drivers stacking up. So, unfortunate. Dustin Bloodworth was in a pretty decent spot there, given the end of that, and we see him make his dive back down onto pit road. Lights back up off the pace car once again, so it looks like the grid will be able to get itself sorted out. Hopefully we won't have any late incidents again.
I am sure these drivers are ready for this race to be over with. I mean, again, it's super speedway. This is, it's fun. I don't mind them too much. I mean, I'm really good at super speedways, but at the same time, it all comes down to luck, and just sometimes you have a good one, sometimes you don't. And right now, these are a lot of pace laps, so these drivers are definitely wore out.
Yeah, I do know one thing. That pace car has certainly led the most laps here tonight, and it is a tad bit unfortunate. I know I've got to say up here in the booth, I'm kind of ready for this one to be over as well. And we saw the same thing kind of happen with our rookie season last season as well. And the driving will continue to improve over the course of the season. But a lot of forced errors tonight that I think were a little bit unnecessary. And hopefully some of these guys elect to come back and watch the broadcast and kind of take a look and see everything from the perspective that we get to see it as. Maybe they'll hopefully can learn from it. But nonetheless, pace car off again for the umpteenth time tonight. We see these drivers back in the Geico restart zone. Green flag back out here in Daytona. We'll see if it will make it to turn one. A couple drivers checking up there on the bottom, but so far so clean. 45 again, getting a great jump on the inside line there. You can just see how important it is to be that control car, but outside line forming up pretty well here together. They should be able to blow by this bottom line if they're able to keep it organized. And as I say that, we do see a little bit of separation, but Justin Nava is a driver that we know can lead this outside line to victory here, and that's exactly what he's looking to do. As some drivers are moving, we'll see him dive down for the side draft.
15 is not clear. That was really close. Oh, yeah. 14 in the apron as well.
It was very close, but so far it looks like we're staying green, and I got to say the 15 was definitely cut a break there by the 46 of Christian Noble. I think they both just wanted to finish that race. So heads up driving from them as we continue to stay green flag racing, coming up to 3 to go, crossing the line here at Daytona. We'll see if the 15 can get clear of the 45 and hunt down on that bottom line. And
The 15 into the wall.
yeah, that may, I don't know if that was some equipment failure or what, but that looked uncharacteristic from Justin Nava there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why anybody would just turn hard right into the wall. I don't know if he had some equipment failure or what.
Yeah, that was definitely weird. He didn't get hit or anything, and he come up off that corner, and it was just a hard right. Maybe a tire went down or equipment failure, like you said.
Yeah, I hopped on board with him. No sudden jerky movements or anything like that. So I don't know if maybe his monitor just went blank for a little bit. It looked like he kind of tried to keep it online and kept it online with the outside wall. And we kind of mentioned in one of the earlier cautions, when the driver at the very front of the pack bends it into the wall like that, there's going to be a lot of cars that are going to be in that'll follow suit. And looking here at the scoring tower here, showing that number 9 of Mike Kufel in the second place spot. A solid run out of him, a quiet run. We've seen him get his fair share of incidents tonight, but not a name that I would have expected to see just given how this race went. And again, I know that he's gotten into some trouble throughout the race, so happy that he's able to make his way up there, and we'll see if he can salvage it and make something happen here. And I would say that caution kind of turned this field upside down a little bit. And I don't know, man. I think Dustin Bloodworth may have the best pit crew here because he's been caught up in some fair share of accidents, and his truck looks pretty clean. Or potentially I may be getting confused with the 10 of Kyle Wigglesworth, as their trucks look quite similar. But hey, his truck looks pretty clean too, so... See these trucks here for a green white checkered, rounding out of turn 3 here. But again, the 45 of Corey Moore, he's been up front here for the latter half of this race.
The wrecks are not over. I can promise you that. We're going to be coming with a green-white checker. These guys want this win, so...
Yeah, and it's got to be said, really unfortunate for the 15 of Justin Alva there, but it looks like he is able to make it back on track, and he may have had well, I would assume he had a faster pair left because he hit that wall a ton, and his truck looks pretty clean. He scored in the 11th place position, and we've seen crazier things happen. He's still got a little bit of work left to do, and you know, that's going to be quite the feat on his hands that he's going to have to take care of here, but not impossible. And lights are still on the pace car. I thought we may have been going back green this time around, but should be coming to 1 to go here. and there it is. Lights are off on the pace car once again.
Yeah, as of right now, we have 19 cars left on the lead lap, and I gotta imagine probably only about a dozen of them are actually going to be able to finish this thing up front.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen just how quick our front runners have been cycled to the rear with incidents. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but we do know that it is still very possible. And at what point does fuel start to become an issue for some of these drivers?
I gotta imagine they're still pretty good on fuel, the ones that came in there and topped off. Like I said, I gotta imagine they're good. I mean, under pace laps, you can shut your engine off or even coast under neutral and save quite a bit. So,
well, lights are back off on the pace car. We're coming out of turn 4. 2 drivers that you got your eye on here. Who would they be?
Well, one of them I was hoping for is pretty far back there now. Unfortunately, he's in 11th, but Tuffle ain't gonna sit down and let that one go. He's gonna try for it, and I gotta imagine Post has been up there pretty much all night, so he's gonna try giving it out too.
Yeah, absolutely. He started in second on the green flag initially, and starting in second position now. The outside though, 54 kind of does get a little bit of a poor start, but Mike's gonna be looking to tuck up to that rear bumper and help get him up there. And the 28 of Clint Hackett up there as well. So 2 drivers that started this race on the front row are still pretty close up there. We've got 2 to go here, green, white, checkered. If everything stays clean here, we'll see what happens. Mike left out on the island there on the high side. He's got a long way to go before he gets any help. We'll see if he can tuck in behind this line. As I say that, though, the drivers actually move up front, the 28 of Clint Hackett and the 54 of Randy Post. We saw these 2 work well together in the duel. We'll see if they can do. We've got a 4v4 here, 4v3 now it looks like. Mike getting a little bit of an aggressive push, but they are able to hold on to it here. The 12 ducks down to the bottom line there, so a momentary 3v3 or 4v4 once the 4 of Dustin Bloodworth comes up to them here. They've got just a couple feet before they get to the line, so the green...
We're at the white flag. Yeah. That will be the official right there. So
yeah. Cars are fanning out everywhere. Guys are moving everywhere. White flag is in the air, so this is it. The next flag will end the race. The 45 of Corey Moore, though, still holding tight on that bottom line here, looking to make a run. But the 28, huge wreck. See if anybody's able to make their way through it here.
Looks like 13 and 8 made it through.
Oh, they're barrel rolling. The 13 is through, and based on what's going on behind them, it's probably going to put him the winner of this race, but we'll see. I don't see any cars lined up. But the 60 of Brad Dorr looking to make a run here. He's got some momentum. I don't know if he has enough to get there before the 13 does, but now the 8 in tow, the 14 looking to suck up to the rear bumper of the 60 and push him. So David Meacham is going to be your winner of the first race in season number 2 in high velocity racing in the rookie series. And wow, that was a big one there at the end. A lot of guys looking to make some headway and try to be there at the end, but unfortunately not everybody was able to make it back around. And we're going to go hop on board here with the 4 truck. We saw him doing many a barrel roll down the backstretch, and there it is as we see it here. Guys just not giving an inch here, looking to gain as much momentum as they can. And we see the 4 duck out a little bit to the high side there, crossing the finish line. That puts Mike in a 3-wide position. And the 4 truck here just 3rd in line on the outside line. The 22 of Randy Cornwell behind him. They just get hooked in front of him in the field and nowhere to go. We see the 22 upside down on his lid, the 4 of Dustin Bloodworth spinning it definitely down the backstretch. And we've got cars that are just flying through, not lifting, trying to gain any position that they can. And while as a competitive nature, I understand it, at the same point, that's not what we want to see here. But we see the 13 mosey on down, sitting at the start-finish line here. So the 13 of David Meacham is going to be scored your winner of this race, with the 60 of Brad Dewar behind him. And we've got the 14 truck here of, I don't know really how to say his name, unfortunately, but with him in the race chatter booth, we might be able to get a copy on him if we want to get these guys in here. It looks like he is the last one that we are waiting on here. I don't see him in any chats. There he is in BTR with Kendon and Trey. So we'll get
We're
him.
waiting on Samuel Moser in third position.
I am showing the 14. I'll have to verify that here at the line, but my scoring pylon here does show that the 14 was the third place finisher. Take a look and see as they came to the line if that is correct or not. And that is correct. The 14 actually was the third place driver. I just went back and watched on the broadcast. So as long as he didn't DQ out, which I don't believe that to be the case, I think the 14 is scored in third place. We can try to verify that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still showing 8, and it's showing the 8 went in by 1/1000th of a second.
Okay, well that's interesting. My pylon here does show the 14.
And iRacing is also showing 8 in third position.
Gotcha. Well, speaking of the number 8 here, we've got Samuel Moser rounding out the third place position there, and a hell of a finish there. Hellacious finish, that must be said. A lot of trucks flipping and barrel rolling down the backstretch, but Sam, you were able to fight your way through it, and it looks like you are scored the third place truck at the line. How does it feel, man?
Oh man, I mean, first race, super jittery. I mean, I had a little nervous there, and then we had some bad luck. Got in a crash early, had to go all the way down. Used my fast repair really early, and then had some more damage a little bit later in the race. Had a 4-minute optional, but I decided to just take my require to go back out, and had some steering issues, and that's what kind of made me a little loose towards the end there, and when we made it 3 wide and had that one crash. But coming into turn 2, I literally was just holding on for dear life. Saw them starting to crash, just stayed in my line, and was able to make it out behind my teammate David there, and he was able to make it across the line, and we had a really quite the finish. But hopefully a lot of lessons learned about how everybody races and stuff. But kind of just some bad luck. But I was able to pull that out of it, which I honestly did not see that coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we definitely saw our fair share of chaos here tonight. But nonetheless, congratulations, man. Third place position in the inaugural race here in the second season of High Velocity. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Oh, just my teammates, David Meekum and Matthew Chase, for taking me under their wing and teaching me stuff, and doing practices with me and kind of showing me what to expect, and just being there alongside me. So them, and just you guys for putting on this league and bringing us here tonight and having a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, again, congratulations on the third place finish, man. We'll let you get back to your teammates to celebrate. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, have a good night, guys.
And next, we see the number 60 truck here of Brad, scored in the second place position, able to make his way onto the podium for the first race of the second season. Man, how does it feel? We saw a lot of chaos tonight, but able to get your way on the podium, man. Talk to us about it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, it was a crazy race. We were battling for the lead at the end of stage 2. I had Trey, the number 77 truck, giving me good pushes. It was great racing with him there at the end of stage 2 and start of stage 3 until he had his game crash. Then it was kind of hanging on through the end of stage 3. I got caught up in that last wreck and took wheel damage and had to pit, and then on that last coming off of turn 2, that crash, I just dove to the apron and held it to the wood and got up to second, went past the trucks they had to lift.
Absolutely. Well, despite all the calamity and chaos tonight, you were able to get it done and make your way to the podium. And I do want to touch on something that you said there. We talked about it there about midway through the race. You were working very well with the 77 and Trey Young on that outside line. You guys were really able to kind of help control that race. How important was that to stay up front and keep that track position throughout the race?
I think if Trey hadn't dropped and he had been able to stay behind me, I think we would have stayed up there through the end. But I didn't have as good of a push after that, and ended up getting down on the bottom, and from there things got shuffled up, and I think it would have been real big if he could have stayed behind me and hadn't dropped. But things happen. It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, nonetheless, again, a podium finish for you. Still able to have something to show for tonight's performance. And before we let you go, man, is there anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Uh, not tonight.
All righty. Well, not a problem at all, man. Again, congratulations to you, and we'll let you go celebrate with your team, man.
Thanks.
And then last but certainly not least, the number 13 truck here able to come away with the victory in the first race of the second season in high velocity racing. How does it feel to be the first winner of the season?
Mixed. It feels good, but I don't want to win like that.
No, absolutely. I mean, a lot of chaos here tonight, but you were kind of a truck that we saw kind of hang midway towards the front of the pack for a majority of the night. And, at the end of the day, despite all things that happened, you were still able to make your way towards the podium. So, definitely not a feat that was easy, especially with all the chaos tonight. And congratulations for that, man. I mean, while we got you here, is there any key moment in the race that you feel like kind of helped solidify your track position towards the front and allow you to get this win?
Just basically every caution that we had in the first half of the race, I was just going in getting fuel. I saw how many people were wrecking in the back, so I was going to be 20th regardless at that point. And just raced up front stage, try to get some points, fell back, and then I was just trying to make moves when I could, find out who I could trust and who to who to avoid.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, despite all things, I mean, your judgment was correct. You were able to be at the highest spot on the podium for tonight's race. So, I mean, that's again incredible with how much drama we saw tonight. And before we want to let you go, man, I just want to give you this opportunity. If there's anybody you want to shout out or thank, the floor is yours.
Thank you guys for putting on the races and the league and everything. It's been a lot of fun so far. Thanks my teammates Chase and Sam. We trying to help each other when we could. And thanks for my wife putting up with me for all this.
Isn't it funny how we always got to thank the wives and the girlfriends and everything for letting us do this,
Well, we know they're not watching, but like just in case,
Oh, yeah.
they're gonna be
Yep.
upset.
Absolutely. That little bit of insurance policy there. And yeah, I think, if and when I can make my way up to the booth, I think I'll be doing the same thing as you. That's a smart play to make. But nonetheless, man, again, congratulations on the first, points winner of the season. And, definitely a major mark here on High Velocity Racing League as you were able to do so. And we look forward to seeing you back here for some more action next week. And I believe you're in the Xfinity Series as well tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you in just under 24 hours. That was the number 13 of David Meacham there making his way on the podium. And Mr. William Kern, what a race we had to watch tonight. Let me tell you, that was a lot of drama, a lot of action, a lot of crashes, a lot of people flipping and on their roofs and in the grass and spinning to the left and spinning to the right. But we got through it, and we have crowned ourselves a winner here tonight.
Yeah, I believe I should be crowned that winner for the amazing race control I had to do. Let me tell you something. That was. I am ready for super speedways to be over. Hopefully we have no more on the schedule. We cancel the one that's coming up and have some real green flag racing here, huh?
Yeah, that would be great. And I think our drivers are capable of doing so. And hopefully the worst is out of the way. But nonetheless, the 13 of David Meacham able to make his way onto the highest standing position on the podium. So we'll get these scores out of here and have these updated standings for you guys throughout the week. And again, congratulations to the podium drivers, and huge shout out to all the guys that are here that were able to participate in tonight's race. And, just know we did experience this last season and did end up having one hell of a season. So it's the first race, a lot of guys around each other that, aren't familiar. So the best is yet to come.
Again, it's super speedway. It's the first race of the season. Like you said, none of them are used to racing around each other. And it's a bunch of new guys. I mean, we're talking 40 cars out there on that track tonight, or close to it. That's a lot. Most leagues, they start out with anywhere from 20 to 30, and we had pretty much 40 out there, and it went about as much as I thought it was going to. But like I said, it all comes down to luck. And again, like you said, it comes down to making your own luck if you can. And looks like David Meacham was able to do that tonight in a 13 car. So good job on his part. Good job on the win. Good job on everybody else for the podiums. And let's move on to next week, huh?
Yeah, next week indeed is definitely something that we're looking forward to here, as the super speedway will be out of the picture, and we've got Las Vegas next up on the schedule, so hopefully we'll get a little bit cleaner racing. But as mentioned on the broadcast with the 13 of David in the booth, we've got some more racing here tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, for some more Daytona action and the Xfinity cars. So a little bit of a higher skill searing in that seal. Wow, again, English is hard. Same at the top of the broadcast as the bottom, but a little bit of a higher skill ceiling. Damn, you know what? It's all good. Hopefully we got a little bit of better drivers there. I was trying to say that in a more political way, but apparently English doesn't work. My English is no good. So we should have a little bit cleaner racing tomorrow. Again, we'll be back, and I think we've got a couple more laps than we did for the rookie trucks tonight. But other than that, man, my name is Bryce. This has been Will up in the booth, and we will see you guys here shortly for some more racing.